Oh, there we go. Sound check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Am I good?
You sound just fine, bro. Just what are you doing?
I was just making sure, man. It's been a weird little setup going on here because okay, funny, forget it. Vice City FC podcast. We're back. It's been a while. It's been pretty much a whole Copa America tournament since we've gone and done a whole episode here. But we're back, better than ever. We got the gang here. All three levels of Vice City are here, and hopefully we'll be joined shortly here by an old friend of ours from our old Miami FC days, who's now a director at Cavalry FC in the Canadian Premier League, former player, Mason Trafford. He's going to hopefully join us here. Got a lot to talk about, but guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us here. My apologies. Again, I redid my whole setup here, which I thought I did it better, but apparently I zigged when I should have zagged. I touched the wire I shouldn't have touched, and now I'm having a lot of audio issues. But we're here. Thankfully, we'll figure it out.
You gotta wait till I'm in town so I can help you do these things, man.
Bro, but you come to town and you don't even say hi anymore. And I'm ever since I moved here and I became your neighbor, you've like gotten further and further away from me. But thank you for hanging out, though. Thank you for making time. It's hot down here. I don't know how hot it is in Orlando. But Xavi, thank you for hanging out with us too. I see you moved into your nice new house there with your fireplace in the background in South Florida. That's very useful.
Vice City FC is paying big bucks.
That money, yeah, bro. I like it. I dig it. So thank you guys for hanging out. First of all, how's everyone doing tonight? How are you guys?
Yang.
Doing great, man. Can't complain. Had a great 4th of July weekend. How about you guys?
Yeah,
Javi, how you doing?
Good. Ready to go now. 4th of July was nice. Played a little soccer in the morning. Went to the beach afterwards. Yeah, the whole day. So pretty cool with the kids, with the family. The smaller ones,
that's what's up.
The younger kids.
All right. Well, enough of the hellos and good to see you. Let's get into it, man. We got a lot to talk about here. We got plenty of stuff going on. We're going to talk a little USA. We got some semifinals in Euro, semifinals in Copa America. We got Olympics around the corner. We got Leagues Cup. We got MLS. We got Inter Miami. Woof, we got a lot and a little bit of time to do it. So let's get to it. First off, USA. I think I want to start there. It's, as we all know, U.S. men's national team did not qualify, did not get out of group stage. Obviously, didn't make it into any knockout stage, and in a very, very sad showing when it comes to the team performance. There's all these calls for the coach to be fired, but Xavi, I want to ask you first, is this more the performance or the lack of advancing here? Is this more on the players, or is this coming from the management? You think it's more of a managerial issue, not leading these guys? How do you split the blame here for them not advancing?
It's definitely a combination of both, but when you have a team, the coach carries the burden. It's easier to get rid of one than to get rid of a team. But here in this case, you're not getting rid of the coach. You're not getting rid of the team. So we're screwed. They're not going to get – I've been saying it for a while. I do not think they're going to get rid of Berhalter. I think he's going to stay no matter how shitty he's doing, no matter how bad they're doing. He's going to stay, and they're going to keep him through the World Cup. They went through a whole year and so supposedly looking and trying to find the right guy and paid over $1 million to a consulting firm and they ended up with the same. And they could have paid me that $1 million and changed my life. I could have had another house like this. And I don't think anything is going to happen. Now, what everybody's been saying is that people are comfortable. Like, he's comfortable because he's a made man. You know, his brother's an executive in there. Everybody, they're all friends, and they got his back. And then the guys on the team feel like he has their back, and everybody's comfortable. And the U.S. has very good quality players supposedly, but they're not performing. They're not performing, and they need competition. And then there's other guys, lesser teams, if you say, but playing really, really well and deserved an opportunity to play, and they're not getting it. They're the same guys are going back. He's recycling the same guys. That's an issue. That's a problem.
You know what, bro? I don't care that his brother is an executive with the U.S. men's national team. Greg Berhalter might as well be named Fredo, and his brother needs to take care of him. All right? That's what needs to happen. Like,
I knew it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
Seriously, man. Like he's
a new Manny Diaz.
this. This team hasn't accomplished anything that any previous team didn't accomplish. You know what I mean? Like this generation of players, and Greg Berhalter has had every opportunity to make it happen, and he's been given so much leeway, and still, they even underperformed compared to previous generations.
Absolutely.
What's the
And then
most
he dresses like
disappointing
crap.
thing?
He dresses like crap on the sideline. At least he could look good.
Because if you look good, you play good. Deion Sanders, bro.
Yeah, for sure. But let me ask you, what's the most disappointing thing? Like what? Okay, because obviously it's been a week now or so since they got eliminated, and you've had plenty of time to ingest all these memes and all these, because they lose, and then everybody starts digging and looking for, like, how is this loss? How would we rank this loss? What is? And you see all these crazy stats that have come out and all these crazy things that are being compared to. What's the one thing that really just blows you away? Because I have one that kind of stands out for me, but I want to know if you guys have. For me, I found. Okay, go ahead. You first.
No. You look pumped. I want to hear yours. Go ahead.
No, because me, it's crazy. Like, okay, so we the first game we looked pretty good. It was against Bolivia. Then we bombed out and lost that game against Panama, right? And then I saw this stat that came out, and it just, to me, it was the most telling, which is United States men's national team has only lost to Panama 3 times in their history. 2 of them have been at the hands of Greg Berhalter as the coach. Yep. Like, that just blows my mind, bro. I know CONCACAF has gotten a lot better, and I saw Panama firsthand when they took on Uruguay at that game. And that Carrasquilla guy, is he the one who plays in MLS? I believe, the guy with the fro, right, Xavi?
Yes.
That dude, he can ball, man. They got some ballers there. They're a good team. They're a good team.
They are.
I saw them play. They're scrappy. They fought. They put up a goal. They lost 3-1 to Uruguay in the game that we covered. But they're not an elite team. USA men's national team is an elite squad. They're supposed to be an elite squad. And to lose that game and to lose it twice to that team, like, man, I've done a whole lot less and gotten fired from jobs. And then this guy, he just keeps bombing it. And I'm like, how, man? It's really head scratching. I don't know. What about you?
Well, now that you mentioned that, Berhalter, I don't know what we're going to do with him, but I'm going to stick with the boys on the pitch. We have a team where we have so many players that are playing in top clubs, right? Milan, Juventus, guys that are Chelsea, blah, blah, blah.
There wasn't a single MLS guy in the starting lineup for
in
USA.
The top leagues
no
in Germany. In Germany, these guys supposedly have, and that's what everybody asked for, right? To be, developed in outside league, to have experience. The thing is, some of them are not getting a lot of playing time, but that's they're at least practicing, or a practice over there, you would assume is better than a lot of the practices or game experience here. Whatever. The point is, they're playing on top teams, and they come and they get together, and they don't look like they mesh, and they don't look like they're putting that effort. The U.S. was one of the teams that committed the least fouls. Is that a bad thing? No. But when you're competing in a tournament like the Copa America, where these guys are assassins going out, look at Uruguay, what they're doing. Like they're slowing when there's an issue, where there's a play that can be trouble. Boom, they cut it. The referees are being permissive. At some point, they're going to have to stop doing that. But they know how to make the tactical play, the tactical foul. USA is kind of soft. They got hit like animals against Uruguay. They were getting nailed all over the place. I personally would like to have someone to have a little more fire. When let's just talk amateur. If I'm playing the game, I'm a central defender, and I see that they're clobbering my star forward, Pulisic. Their guy Darwin is coming through my zone. He's gonna get clocked. And it's gonna be an eye for an eye. But we're not like that. We're like, oh, okay, and that's something that's part of the part of that dirty part of the game. You have to when you're physical, you have to be physical. Panama was physical. They made it difficult. Those type of teams are always going to make it difficult on the USA if they don't learn how to fight back and fight back. Not Cavalry, the guy in the head like Wea did, to get thrown out. Fight back.
That was
in a soccer
like you say,
sense.
silly mistakes.
In a soccer sense, putting that foot in high, going in body hard. Before he comes at you, you go at him. Little things like I think we're missing some little things like that. I don't know why, because these guys play in leagues where the top players play 100% all the time. They're going hard, so it's hard. It's hard to understand. But yes, Berhalter has blame in that. I think they're just too comfortable, and he's comfortable, and the federation's comfortable, and there needs to be a whole uprooting of everything there to unfortunately to start again. But it's not going to happen now because we're only 2 years away.
Yeah. Well, let me see, because I look back at like old squads of the U.S. and we were always tougher, more tough than finesse. Because the knock on us was always like, all right, well, we don't have the skill, we don't have. But you look at this lineup, like you said, and it was everybody's playing in Europe, everybody's playing in top leagues. It feels like we tried to maybe out finesse people now instead of that grittiness and that toughness that we got that we're used to having. But even so, we didn't put up a goal against Uruguay. We didn't put up a goal against Uruguay. Balogun has been great. He got hurt. He had to be taken out of the game.
They were killing him. They were clawing him every time.
I agree. I think that's when Ream and the other center back have to, hey, you're going to hit our guy. We're going to send a message. You're going to feel it. You know what I mean? You're not getting any free passes here. Darwin Nunez, he's a great player, but that guy is, I'm trying to compare him to like an NBA guy. I don't know who it is, but
he's Bill Laimbeer.
No, man, he sucks, dude. Darwin Nunez is the guy who like takes 100 shots, and he might make one. Like you keep feeding him the ball. And at least he takes shots. At least he takes shots, but man, he's not efficient, is what I'm saying. That guy leaves a lot to be desired. When you look at his physique, his attributes and his strengths, and he doesn't really.
He's no Luis Suarez, is what you're saying. He's no Luis Suarez in his prime, is what you're trying to say. Well, not too many forwards are.
But I feel like there's a big disparity, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like
he's still pretty good. He's still pretty good,
but I feel like he leaves a lot there. Now, Balogun, you've seen it when he's fed the ball, he could do a lot of things. And what really drives me nuts is like you go back to the last Copa America in 2016, the Centenario one, where was that Klinsmann took the team to the semifinals there. And that team, their striker was Bobby Wood, I believe. A guy who was playing in MLS.
Legend. Bobby Wood.
Yeah. The legend Bobby Wood. Like, come on, man. We think about this. We have a guy in Pulisic who thankfully has refound his skill and his form playing in AC Milan. You saw him struggling at the end of his Chelsea run. You see him doing all these they had a fantastic season in Milan, right? Absolutely. You see all these other guys that have been playing very well. McKinney has became a focal point of the Juventus attack as well. You know what I'm saying? And a focal point of their midfield. He's very well respected. You got all these guys that are playing in these different leagues and they're doing all these great things. You got guys, Ricardo Pepe's been scoring goals in the Netherlands, in the league that he's playing in. Like
PSV, no?
Things, those guys, PSV, him with Tillman and Serginho Dest. You got all these guys with so much talent. And the one thing that we keep saying is like, oh, this is the golden age. We have all these guys that are so talented, that are so good. We're just missing the striker. We're just missing the one guy. I don't think it's fool's gold. I think we do have the elements there, but dang, man, like we tried so hard to make something happen, and we finally get gifted this premier striker, this guy who could really do things that we weren't able to do in that position. And I feel like it's just been a complete waste. With him, with Berhalter managing this situation, it's been very, very frustrating. Very, very, very frustrating.
Edwin, I see you're wearing a Canada hat, Edwin.
Well, I was trying. It was the closest thing I had for Canada, so I was trying to.
I think it's the perfect time to bring on our guest right now. Right, let's bring in our guest for today, Mason Trafford. Mason, how's it going, man?
I'm good, guys. Long time no see. Thanks for having me on.
Long time, man. Mason Trafford. He's the commercial and marketing director at Cavalry FC, and he's a former Miami FC star
Miami FC
defender.
legend.
Yeah, man.
Miami FC legend over here. Actually,
Nice.
true story. I saw a guy walking around the other day with a Mason Trafford Miami FC jersey, and I was
Nice.
like, "Oh, look, lives on, dude, lives on." I've
you
never
go.
seen anyone walk around with a Edwin Garcia jersey, so I imagine that's got to be pretty cool to see. So
That's
congrats,
wicked.
Mason.
That's awesome. That's a neat there. I like it. I know every day the center back gets the jersey sales, but that's cool. That's wicked. I miss Miami, guys. I miss seeing you guys around the grounds and stuff. So I hope you're all well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. We're doing good. You know, with our little platform has grown a little bit over here, but there's only one Mason Trafford, as the song goes. I'm sure you remember that.
I do remember that. The good old days.
The good old days. The good old days. So now, man, yeah, you're fully entrenched in Cavalry FC over there. You're in the Canadian soccer community, right? So can you tell us a little bit about what's it like over there, seeing Canada go on this Copa America run?
It's amazing. Honestly, it was cool. When I left Miami in 2019, I signed for Cavalry FC, which was one of the founding teams of the Canadian Premier League. And that was, we're only in our 6th year now. Like 2.5 of those years were kind of crazy wild in a COVID pandemic, and it was bubble play, and it wasn't really normal. And our team was down in Orlando just a few months ago playing in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. That's a club level.
Yeah.
Our national team's playing Argentina tomorrow night, Copa America semifinal. So honestly, it feels like this Canadian soccer ecosystem, this landscape, it's thriving. It's really cool for me. Obviously, I've been at all levels of the game as a player. Now I'm sort of managing the business side of Cavalry FC. So to do it from both sides of the ball now and to see it grow, especially in Canada, it's been phenomenal. It's been really, really fun too.
That's great, man. You know what? I didn't know that you were part of Cavalry FC up until I came across your LinkedIn profile recently.
Nice.
And that's when I reached out to you, But I was at that Orlando Cavalry match when they here in Orlando, because now I live in Orlando, and I'm covering Orlando City. So man, it would have been great to run into you there. But
I didn't travel for that one. We had we had to play our, because Calgary, where I live, we're Cavalry. We are based in Calgary, Alberta. It gets really, really cold here in the wintertime. So that game, we had to play it actually in a neutral site, because we had to play at a stadium that we couldn't guarantee that it wasn't going to be minus 40 degrees.
Oh, got you.
So we had to play it actually on Vancouver Island. So I traveled for that one, but then I didn't travel down for the second leg there in Orlando, but it would have been definitely cool to connect.
Yeah, man. So, Edwin?
Man, we could definitely use some of that cold weather down here right now. I don't know if you know, Mason, if you still got people down here. It's like it's hell down here right now. It is so hot. It's like 100 degrees, humid every day here. We're going through it, man. My poor AC is taking a beating. I'm just talking about minus 40. I'd welcome that.
Tomorrow here. I'm buying AC tomorrow because we're at a heat wave here right now too, and it gets hot in Calgary. It's freezing in the winters and pretty damn hot in the summers, and we're in a heat wave right now. Sleeping stuff. There's not everybody has AC here because you don't need it all year round. So it's but it's getting installed some more. I'm back
makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure, guys.
All right, Edwin. You wanted to ask Mason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No. I was just Gus was alluding to there. I mean, right now, Canada is. It seems like Canada has taken advantage of the fact that all eyes are on North America here. We had so many things with Copa America. Then we have the World Cup. We have the Soccer World Cup club competition coming up. Also, in between that, North America's really got a chance to capitalize on all this momentum, all this attention. And of course, U.S. men's national team, bombs out of the group stage in Copa America. But you guys, led by an American coach who a lot of people were hoping would be the coach for U.S. men's national team here, have really taken this tournament by storm. I mean, you're in the Final Four, you're in the semifinals. I believe tomorrow's the game against Argentina. What's the pulse like right now over there? Is it because here, obviously, even though USA is out of it, there's still such a huge Argentine fan base and everything, and with the Messi connection to South Florida, there's all eyes are on tomorrow's game. So I'm just curious from your perspective across the border, how's that going?
It's buzzing here. Honestly, I think it's kind of taken the country by surprise, and it honestly, it slowly feels like Canada is becoming a soccer country. You know, it started with that improbable World Cup qualification. Everybody was thinking, okay, our first World Cup since '86 will be when we host or when we co-host in '26. The team went and did it 4 years before expectations in 2022. And it was almost like with Herdman there, now the coach of TFC, as you guys probably know, like it felt like something bubbled up, right? Like we unearthed a few big stars and a Jonathan David, and you got guys like Alphonso Davies and Eustachio, and now some of the center back, like as you can see, some of the players, Kone, that are like just bursting onto the stage and showing that they're like there's real talent here in Canada. So I think it's just slowly, like, it takes time. Like, you know how it is. Like, fandom takes time. It takes time for people to realize that the World Cup in 2022 wasn't a one-off. There's more good players. There's a group culture. There's a country behind the team. And now just like you said, like, boom, all of a sudden we're playing Argentina for the second time in the tournament. The first time we did lose, I think we lost 2-0, but I think it was a really good showing, a really good account of ourselves. We stood toe-to-toe with the best team in the world and didn't look too out of place. So I think all of a sudden people in Canada are like wising up to the fact that this sport, like, it's like the most popular sport for all the kids. They all play it, but I don't think it's quite permeated the hockey culture of Canada to be like, now there's actually fans here too. And people that really fall in love with the country's soccer pride. And it's cool. Like it's really cool. I'm already so excited for the game tomorrow, to be honest.
What's the youth scene like? Because here in the States, it's it's pay to play, and most people are they don't like it, and that's one of the reasons that people put the blame on for U.S. soccer not growing to the level that people think it should be. But in Canada, what's it like? Is it pay to play, or do you guys use another system? What's it like?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess if you got into like one of the academy systems, which are not a lot, but that's part of the reason my day job with the Canadian Premier League with Cavalry FC, it's like to try to build these pathways up so that we can get to a place. We're not quite there yet, so there's still a lot of clubs, a lot of really strong clubs that do have a pay to play model. But there's a lot of clubs trying to do it right as well, and even though that still might exist, there's some really good players here, and there's some really well run clubs. So again, it's not perfect. We're not in Europe. Money does make a lot of this go around to some extent. So, but again, I think with now the Canadian Premier League, 8 teams coast to coast, 3 teams in the MLS, a really, really thriving men's national team, a women's national team that's been crushing it for years. It's like I said before, like almost overnight, you're like, wow, like we're becoming a soccer country, and that was almost crazy to think of. It was sort of like this niche market a while ago, where if you were a soccer supporter, you were kind of like an outsider, and people played, but only when they were kids, and then they kind of aged out of the game when you were 18. If you weren't going pro, you weren't going to college. It was kind of like, I guess I'm hanging them up, which is a bit of a shame because there's too many good players that might not have reached their full potential when they're 16, 17 to just be hanging. It's like time to play in a men's beer league type situation. So the pathways are forming. It's an exciting time to be involved with Canadian soccer. And again, it's like, I think it's up to us. It's up to guys like you. Like, I mean, even doing podcasts like this and talking to guys like you that are pushing the game forward. Like, it really is. Like, I see it every day now. It really is. The people that decide to cover it, decide to talk about it. It's what's shaping it, like, day in, day out.
Mason, have you lost the itch to put on your boots and go onto the pitch when you see these guys playing, or are you already like, all right, that those days are behind me, or do you watch the games now? Yeah, no chance for the comeback.
No chance. I had twins born on Canada Day, July 1st, 2022. I have a 6-year-old that was born in Miami and lived the first 6 months of her life down there. I got a 9-to-5 job now, trying to run this football club. Well, running a football club more than 9 to 5. I get that question all the time, and I was literally at the Calgary Stampede on Friday night, which is like the biggest rodeo in the world. and I was watching the chuck wagons go around. I had my phone set up watching the Canada game because it was a work event, and I had the game on. So I'm still like the biggest fan. I'm so passionate about the game because what it gave me in my life. I got to live down there in Miami with you guys. I got to live all over the world. I'm the biggest fan, but I don't really have the itch to get the boots back on. I got a few of my buddies now too that are like older guys that are like, come play on my men's team, sign for my men's team. And I'm like, if I have an extra hour and a half in the day, like I want to go play golf. I want to go do something different. I don't know if I want to play soccer with you, but I love you to death. Some of my friends playing soccer with you is like the number one thing on my list right now. So it's yeah, in 5
That's
more.
hilarious. That's
only
hilarious.
in a couple of years, so we'll see.
Well, are you still doing soccer shape?
We were running it pretty heavily during COVID. It was really cool. We were doing online stuff, but again, Johnny's got a family now. So you listen to Johnny Barajo, who used to be our captain at Miami SC. He's in New York. He's like a banker. And Brett Bernstein, American center back. He lives in like Serbia or something now. He's doing like crypto. I got busy. I had kids that were born. We had to retire that at least temporarily while our lives kind of diverged. But I still rock the t-shirts and stuff every now and again. I love that. I love that business.
I could see Rhett DJing some weird raves over there in Serbia.
Bitcoin by day. And
yeah.
Night, probably. Yeah. I miss those guys. Yeah. That was such a good group we had at Miami FC that year that we won by like points. That was like, I still think about that game we lost to Cincinnati.
Yes.
And thinking like how we should have been. I think that would have taken us to the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup. What a year!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
Yeah, it's a top 5. You know, the Poku goal against Atlanta is still like one of the top 5 sporting moments in Miami history. That's how we were re-ranked it for you.
Well, we went to Orlando and we beat. What did we win? 3-1 or 3-0 in Orlando against Kaká, against that team that had some big stars, and we just rolled up there. And that was I'll never forget that stuff with Nesta as the coach. It was what a crazy time. Like I still remember getting that phone call. I was up in Ottawa and I got the phone call about Miami FC and Nesta and this Italian guy that was going to own the team. I was like, crazy time how that just came, and then. I guess they're still going strong. I still follow Miami FC and I still root for them, but that was unique. That was a unique few years there.
Well,
we saw Arielito is now one of the coaches on the team too. So we saw his transition to, sidelines as well. But besides Rhett and your soccer shape buddies, you still talk to any of the other guys from the team? You guys still, is there like a Miami FC 2016 group chat on WhatsApp somewhere where you guys still,
There's no group chat, but we live in this world now where we're so connected with social media. Like Daniel Vega is like doing amazing things. Like I think they won the league, the Greek Super League. So I follow along with him. Enzo Ranella, I follow along his journey with just via social media and the odd like message back and forth here and there. Ariel, like you said, I still follow Nesta and a little bit of his coaching staff a little bit. Johnny, Rhett, who else? Hunter Freeman a little bit. Farfan and I are like really good boys. Like we saw each other in San Diego not too long ago.
Awesome.
Tyler Ruthven, who's at Atlanta United as a scout.
That's cool.
Yeah, like we still connect. You know how it is. Like you connect. That was one of those groups that you'll like be friends with for life. And a lot of the guys are doing really cool things, and a lot of them still in the game too. So it's both personal, like just catch up with guys that you love being with, and then also professionally now too. And because we're all kind of working the game, whether we're in Europe or Canada or the States, it's fun to keep in touch.
That's awesome, because for us, Miami FC, when you got that call for us, we were kind of having our own brainstorm as to what are we going to do, and that's where Lemon City kind of came up, and then Miami FC was very, very good to us when we started off, and now here we are all these years later, and we were just at Copa America covering that. We've been steadily growing too, so it's nice. And for us, we always hold a special place for Miami FC, and especially that season what you guys did. So, but Mason, I want you to put your analyst hat on here. I know we got a little nostalgic here, and I like throwing it back to the Miami FC stuff, but I want you to put your analyst hat on. I want you to tell me why Canada is going to win tomorrow. What do they have to do to make that happen?
Honestly, what's really shocked me about this Canada, and I think it was really cool because with Herdman, you saw this like change in mentality and culture amongst the Canadians. We all of a sudden, I don't know, we all of a sudden saw ourselves as a soccer nation that could compete. And I think he challenged the players to grow up mentally and to see themselves as equals to some of these big nations. So when he left, it was a bit weird, right? And then when Marsh was hired, I was really curious. And I have to be honest, like I've been so impressed with the mentality. Like Canada looks like a top team. And like, okay, like I said, we lost that game and Argentina has more quality and they beat us, expected. But like the way we played all these games where it just looks like we have no fear, or it looks like we're just peers of these powerhouses.
Yeah.
I think that's something special that's really, really difficult, I think, for a staff, but also for players to follow a game plan where you're like, don't worry that Messi's on that team and DePaul and these like world-class players that like, don't worry, just go play. And you've seen that with Canada in all these games. So I think for tomorrow night, I expect it to be like that plus. Like they're going to be like, nobody expected us to be here. We've done it this way since the start. No pressure, no stress. Go out there and just like try to ball out against these guys. You lose, everybody expected it. You win, we're in the final of Copa America. It's actually madness. So I think that's the key. Like, long story short, I think the key is we just go out there and play like no regrets. Just go play. And as you've seen, like we can hurt teams. Like we have a few like world-class players on that team that can hurt the other team. So you do that. Maybe Argentina has not their best day, and who knows? Maybe Canada, the whole country is celebrating the biggest sporting game, whatever, in a long time. So
biggest upset.
Yeah, like that would be.
It
would be madness. I can't even put myself there like this time tomorrow night, thinking that might be a win. But let's see,
man. And just to piggyback off of what you said, man, like I was at that Canada-Chile match, and after the game, I asked Jesse Marsh, what's the locker room like? Because you've got players that, like you said, like Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, those guys play the biggest games in Europe. And then you got other guys that are here in the MLS, that not like somewhat smaller stage. What's the dynamic like? And he said, no, those guys are incredibly unified. There's no cliques or anything like that. And I think that they've just bought into whatever system or whatever mentality Jesse Marsh is instilling in them. They look incredibly focused, and win or lose, they're gonna bust ass on that field. Yeah,
they look like they believe. Like I agree. I think they've bought in, and then it looks like something's really shifted where they genuinely believe that they belong there. And I think that it's been really cool to see, because I think everybody probably expected a more like pragmatic, practical approach, sit back and play the underdog role and hit teams here and there. But like from what I've seen, like I've been like, I did not expect them to go toe to toe like this and just like exchange blows with the best teams in the world and progress. And literally outside of the scoreline, you could honestly say like that was an enjoyable game, and Canada did ourselves proud, and we didn't get really played off the park. We just got beaten because some of these guys they have Messi, and they have Martinez, and they have these players that like they're unbelievable, they're the best of the best. But I don't know, it's been kind of, to be honest.
It's funny. I don't know.
Wait, I gotta ask. Have you looked at flights to Miami for the final if Canada wins?
I haven't. I have. I should. You guys got a media pass for me or what?
We can try and work something out. We're waiting to see, but man, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna whoever's playing in that final, Miami's gonna be absolutely going crazy.
That's gonna be insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. Like, wow, what a place! I'm gonna have to tune into the show after you guys after that final, because you guys are gonna have some serious stuff to talk about.
It's good. It's gonna be Canada, Colombia, like that Gold Cup. I don't know how many years ago. Canada won. So there's unfinished business.
Guys, if Canada was to beat Argentina, I don't know.
Do you think there's a chance?
puncher's
I
chance.
think-
I do. I mean, there's always a chance. Like, again, Canada has enough weapons that can hurt a team. A lot has to go right for Canada, and enough has to go wrong for Argentina. But again, like one mistake, and there's always a chance because it's soccer too. Like, who knows? Like Argentina, what if somebody takes a red card in the first 20 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like, not only do they have a chance, but they have a good. Like, there are so many things that you could count a team out. If you saw the mentality was very like, we're just going to sit back and we know we're worse and we're just going to hope for the best. But because the way they've been playing, it does give you some kind of hope. Like, there's a chance. I don't think we're as good as Argentina. Like, if you played them 10 times, like, I think Argentina would win the majority. But I don't think that this Canadian team is going in there thinking to themselves, like, it's been fun, guys. Like, I'll see you next tournament, or I'll see you next camp. I think they're going there thinking, like, let's throw a few shots in and see if we can land a knockout somewhere, and let's hope for it.
I was having a conversation with a friend about the game, and I said, look, if they play 10 times, 8 or 9 out of 10, Argentina most likely win. But I think this game could be the one time. I don't see Argentina as the same team that won the World Cup. The way they're playing, Messi's not 100%. I don't think they're playing the same. But obviously, like you said, they have quality players. Lautaro can score a goal at any moment. By mistake they might score a goal. But I think it's a lot closer, the distance for this game, than ever before. And I think that they can hurt them. Davies up that line. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be trouble for them. And like you said, maybe a red card because there's a lot of fouls. Who knows? Anything can happen. But I think this could be the one game, and it would be amazing.
Honestly, if you think about the Argentine, if you put yourself in the Argentinian staff and the players tonight, they were sitting around the hotel. I think that's a good indicator of what they are probably thinking. I doubt that they're all joking, laughing, going, "Ha, we're in the final! Like, this is like party."
No way.
There's something in the back of their mind going, like what we're saying. Like, we haven't really quite vocalized it or landed on what it is, but there's something in their minds going, there's something dangerous about this team. Do not take them easy. I think it's probably a team with no fear, that plays with no regrets, that's physical, and that has pace.
Mm-hmm,
and
pace.
Especially against Argentina, like, I think the wingers especially, they like Larrea, Davies, like you said, like, the outside backs for Argentina are probably thinking, like, do not let this guy get me 1v1 with open field behind me, and because they're gonna go, and they're likely faster, like straight line speed.
Yeah,
I'm sure if you're Argentina, you're thinking, again, of course they think they're better. Their mentality is we're better, we're gonna win the game, but like they're not joking about it. I don't think that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a different level of respect for this game.
Yeah.
Than years ago, of course.
Yeah, for sure. So
Mason, before we let you go, I want to ask you. Let's look at the other side of the bracket here. I want to get your opinions on the other game, the other semifinal here, because we got a little Colombian connection here, Xavi and myself. Those are our roots there, so we got a particular rooting interest when it comes to Colombia here. But we're kind of curious to see what you, what your perspective is, what you think, and who you like in the Colombia-Uruguay match.
I'm not nearly as educated here, to be honest, because there's so much soccer on this TV right now. And like I mentioned, I told you guys I had twins at home too. So my wife is just watch football all night long. I'll take care of the kids. Don't worry. I obviously been prioritizing watching all the Canada games and then some of the Euros, but I don't know. My gut feeling tells me that Uruguay is going to win, but I wouldn't put any money on what I say because I don't know enough about it. I haven't really watched too much of either of those teams, but knowing Bielsa and some of the vibes going around, I feel like that's where my gut tells me.
All right, well, you're wrong, but okay, we'll take it. We're looking forward to it. We're rooting for, at least me. I think it's if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were, I'd say Argentina, Colombia would be the two favorites going into the final here. But again, like we said, anything can happen right now. Argentina's definitely not taking it easy right now in their hotel room. Thinking that they got a free pass tomorrow They know what they're up against, and we're going to be excited. We're going to be rooting for you guys too, as well.
Awesome.
I definitely want to see some fireworks. Why not? Let's bring more attention and more eyes to our side of the world here when it comes to the beautiful game. But
well, whatever happens, Miami is going to be popping off at the final.
Party.
Colombia would be like, I can't even imagine the scenes there in Miami.
Those two fan bases have packed the stadiums everywhere they've gone. So I don't even know what are they going to do, because they're all want to be there. So I don't know how the ticket sales are going to go.
Oh my God, it's going to be I'll check X that night to see some wild things happen. Like, it'll be amazing.
Yes. Can we get a score? Can we get a score prediction
for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys want me to say something controversial? 2-1 Canada.
No.
2-1 Canada. All right.
2-1. Hey.
Let's go.
We'll roll with that.
All right. I like it.
We can't lose.
I honestly got to.
We're here. We made it. We're gonna go all out.
Huge,
I got a weird feeling that tomorrow's going into PKs.
Historic
I don't know.
Upset. Well, if they go into PK, Argentina's got the advantage. So you want them to get that 2-1 in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want to go to PKs against Argentina for sure. You don't. I don't like those odds either. So you don't want to play Argentina, but we're here. So
awesome.
Okay, guys. Yeah. Well, honestly, thanks so much for having me on the show. I appreciate you guys and everything you're doing. Like I said, and whatever happens, it'll be fun. Some fun things to watch and talk about in the coming days here.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining us again. Good luck with Cavalry FC. Good luck with your family, with the twins and everything. And
thanks, man.
Hopefully we see you soon, man.
I'll be hitting you guys up when I make my return down there. So thank you.
Awesome. Right, have a good one, Mason.
Take care, Mace. Oh, man.
All right, man. Shout out to Mason Trafford, man.
Yeah, bro. My favorite Canadian Premier League team, Cavalry FC. I should have asked him for some swag. Damn. Send him a message, Gus. I've actually watched.
I'll trade him a Lemon City shirt for a Cavalry FC jersey.
Yeah, tell him we'll hook him up.
That's a fair trade. That's a fair trade.
It is.
That's a good deal. I've actually watched. I watched him play with Cavalry. I think it's FS1 down here, if I'm not mistaken. Shows Canadian Premier League games, and I watched him play before he retired there. When he first got to Cavalry, I was like, oh man, look, there's our boy, you know. And I've seen the games, so best of luck to him there. But all right, we got a little bit of time left here, so I know Chavi's got to bounce here in a few minutes. But let's try to wrap up here real quick. I want to talk a little bit about the other big tournament that's happening here. Maybe dive into a little Miami FC here real fast. But the Euros are also getting underway tomorrow. What's the game tomorrow? Do you guys know? I should have pulled it up.
Is it Spain?
Who's playing? Let me see.
Yeah, Spain, France tomorrow.
Okay, so Spain, France tomorrow.
What a match!
France hasn't scored a goal in regulation.
Spain's the best team in the tournament. The final was already played. The final was Spain, Germany. Whoever won
that was a great game
is the champ.
Yeah, man. France hasn't scored a goal the entire tournament. An on-field goal because they made a penalty or whatever, but
they have one penalty, 2 own goals, and then a penalty kick shootout win. Unbelievable, dude.
Own goal is the leading goal scorer.
Yeah, European goal. Who is that guy? Where is he from?
He came out of nowhere.
No, own goal is Spanish for fungus. So I'm the leading goal scorer in the Euros.
You had the golden boot, bro.
That's right.
You had the golden boot, Gus over here, man. The thing with France that really scares me is that they're loaded. Like that.
The sleeping giants. The sleeping giant. You don't want them to wake up.
Bro, they gotta wake up. They're hibernating giants here. It's 5 games in or whatever, however many games that they've played, and they haven't scored a goal. They got Mbappe. Like it doesn't.
Mbappe's not right though. The mask is bothering him.
The masked turtle.
Yeah. Bro, but they're low. Bro, on paper they have so many weapons. Somebody should have stepped up by now. I can't imagine that many people being mediocre in this nation. Like it's just, I don't know if it was that maybe they had their mind on the elections. Now that that's all behind them, maybe they can focus on the game, whatever it is. But France is just that to me the biggest storyline. That's not like obviously who wins the Euro. To me, has been like where has France been? Gus said. own goals, penalty kicks. That's it. That's all they've had. No, like, like you cannot make this stuff up. But that's real surprising. Spain, yeah, they look like they're cohesive. They look like they've been playing together for years. These are all a bunch of young kids. I don't
Bro,
know.
Lamine Yamal is the leading assister in the tournament. That's insane.
The two teenagers are the best player. Well, they're loaded, but Lamine and then Nico Williams on the other wing is amazing. So you got those two guys coming up, and then you have the rest of the guys. Tiki taka, touch, move, boom, pretty strong on defense, good goalie. That's my squad for Euros.
See, I definitely think Spain this is their hey, we're here moment for sure.
We're back. We're back.
We're here. We're back, and I definitely think that regardless of the winner, if they win the tournament or not, they've put everybody on notice. Like, oh damn, Spain's back, and they're young and they're loaded. And now they're probably going to be a favorite at 2026. But that's one half of the bracket here. Wednesday, we got the game I'm looking forward to. Dutch versus England. Ooh.
They hate each other,
like
bro.
This.
They hate each other. That's like a cultural rivalry, and that's not even on the soccer field, man.
Oh, you know what I read? They're playing at Borussia Dortmund Stadium, the game, right? And they allocated the tickets a certain way that the Netherlands fan base, the orange, are going to be where the yellow wall is. That normally they're going to be sitting in the supporter section of the Dortmund Stadium. So the yellow wall is going to be orange. That is going to be nuts because the Dutch fans travel. I mean, obviously the England fans travel really great too. Fans, but the Dutch, that orange is going to stand out big time. And I love what Netherlands has been doing. I've been really, rooting for them. So that's why I'm rooting for to win the tournament. That's why I want to win. Will they win? I don't know. I probably
it'll be interesting to see Bellingham return to his old stadium.
Yeah. Bellingham has been phenomenal, but everybody else on that England team, Bellingham and Cole Palmer, the Chelsea guy.
So you're
great for Chelsea. I'm showing favoritism for my team here, but everybody else on the England team, I can't stand. I don't like them. I'm just like, ugh, don't like them. Not a fan. Harry Kane comes out.
You're predicting a 2010 World Cup final rematch.
That'd be interesting, bro. That'd be interesting. Yeah, that would be very, very cool.
Netherlands. You're predicting a rematch, Dutch, and the Dutch will come in with a lot of emotion and wanting to get some of that revenge, right? That would be an amazing game.
Man, when is the last time the Dutch won a Euro Cup?
I don't think I know they've never won a World Cup, but
they've never won a World Cup.
They've been runner-up 3 times, which is
2 times.
Yeah, they did twice in like the 70s and then 2010 one. I don't know if they've won a Euro. I'd have to look it up. My apologies, I didn't come prepared for that. But I think out of the 4 teams that are left in the Euros, I think you probably rank it Spain 1, France 2, England 3, Dutch 4. As far as the last 4 that are left here. But
your power rankings, your European power rankings.
But I like
1988, guys.
Netherlands. 88 they won. Okay, so they did win one. But I like their chances. I think England. I know there's a lot of it's coming home. England is yellow, man. England, as much as the Dutch haven't won anything, like they've been runner-up, bridesmaid 3 times in the World Cup and whatnot. England doesn't even make it to that level. They bomb out before it. They're always a disappointment. On paper though, they're the better team, but in reality, they're a disappointment. They always let you down. They're they're going to fade out in the semifinals. They lose in the quarterfinals. They struggle. They got their 1 World Cup. Good for them, 1960, or 60 or 66. I forget what year it was, but that's it. 66. So I like the Dutch chances here. So we'll see what the
so do I.
What the final is going to be. You got the Dutch going.
So I'm the only guy going for España. Okay.
I'm going for Spain.
So what do you like in the second game? What do you like in the second game?
In the second game, I got the Dutch.
Oh, Netherlands. Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like if they made it to the finals. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we all expect the Spain. I'm thinking France. I think France is going to wake up. I can't imagine that they're gonna be asleep for an entire tournament. So I gotta bet France here. I'm thinking France and the Dutch in the final here. So you got what, Spain and the Dutch, both of you?
I think Spain has been the best team in the tournament, and I don't see why it'd be any different. I can understand what you're saying. If that sleeping giant wakes up, they got all the talent in the world.
Bro, and those
those
two young guys are completely unfazed by the moment. It's maybe they're just not even sure what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, they know what's going on. They're just used to it, and they're enjoying it, and they're happy. You see them after the game; they're squirting water at each other. Playing, that they're having an amazing time. It's that they're so good and they know it, and they're just having a great time, which is why they're playing so beautiful.
And that's true though, but again, we can't rule out the fact that eventually one of two things is going to happen. Either A, the moment arrives and they get blinded by the moment, or the moment arrives for France and they're like, "Oh, where have we been? Let's wake up." Like. These two things can happen at the same time, or one can happen tomorrow and the other won't. Who knows? I just think there's a very volatile situation happening at the Euros there. So we got our Euro. All right, we got our Euro picks there. Let's wrap up the show here. Chav, you got a couple minutes? Can we squeeze you in here? I know you got to run to the other one. Okay.
No. This is priority number one.
All right, so let's. I want to talk. All right, so Inter Miami. We released our latest power rankings. After a long stretch at number one, we had to bump them down to number two. They had a tough, I'm not going to say humiliating loss, because it's a loss, bro. Every loss is humiliating.
When they put 6 on
you have reason. It's 6 is bad. 6 is bad. You never want to give up 6.
Okay, so we'll just say embarrassing. We'll just say embarrassing. Yeah. No, just like
we'll say embarrassing.
But I'm writing about that. I'm actually almost finished. I'm looking at each goal and talking a little bit about each thing. But the first thing that I look at is the center back pairing that put. He put Busquets, which I've asked to play center back before, but then he put Kristoff. And usually you like to pair center backs, one a little bit more of the technical guy, perhaps the other guy a little faster, a little bit rougher. You try to have a contrast and a balance. And with these two, there wasn't a balance. You have two slower, older veterans. Busquets obviously much more technical, can get the ball clean. But Kristoff is pretty technical. Believe it or not, he gives good balls from the outside. But they're both terrible on the one-on-one, on the open space when they're trying to go and pressure up high. As you see in the first goal, what happens, which has happened like 3 or 4 times already, Kristoff. He goes up to pressure with the forward or the player, from on his back. The guy feels the pressure, turns on him, and leaves him in the dust. That was the same goal that they scored. Carolina scored. Ajiman. He turned, see you. Same thing just happened now. He comes up, turned, I'm gone. And I don't understand why Tata does not see that. This is like the 3rd or 4th time, that it happens directly to Kristoff.
Do you think that he started them together out of necessity? Maybe the other guys weren't available or resting or something?
Well, he mentioned in that Toto Aviles had like a little knee thing and he didn't want to risk him, which is fine. But then you have Ian Frey and you have Ryan Saylor, 2 other young guys that I think have a little more pace. I just think that he's the type of coach that he values the experience, and he feels comfortable with that. And they asked him, Michelle Kaufman asked, hey, about the other center backs, Frey, blah, blah, blah. And that's when he said, no, Aviles is injured. And Frey, we never thought of starting him. Like he point blank said he wasn't in the thought process of starting him. So I don't know why. Only they know. But I would have started a Frey with Busquets, because you have the master and you have the prodigy that's gonna be a master and is really good right now, and it's very fast, and he would cover more ground and cover more space. So that's the first thing I noticed there. That started off. That was off. And then you obviously didn't have Alba, who's been playing great. Negri came in and he had a subpar game too. So it's just all these things happen at once. So many bad things happen at once, and it just a thrashing. I don't think that's an indicator of how much better Cincy is or how terrible Miami has become now. I think it's just one of those nights. You chalk it up to that, and we'll meet again.
Well, let's put some context also here. Cincinnati was just 2 points behind us in the Supporters Shield, and they have the second. And now they're ahead of us. They're the Supporters Shield
with a game in hand.
With a game in hand. So this isn't a bad loss in that sense, because this is the second best team record wise in the whole league. That's great. I mean, LAFC hasn't lost in like 2 months. They're on fire. They're number 1 in our power rankings. They've just been tearing it up. Cincinnati's just been quietly just in the background, while the West Coast teams is a 3-headed race in the West, and then you have Miami, who's had all the attention. Cincinnati's just been sitting back in the cut, just waiting for the little moment to just come out, and then they're like, oh, hey, what's up? Hey, boom, we're gonna put 6 on you. Again, no Messi, no Suarez. Those guys are involved, plus the countless amount of injuries and players that we didn't have available. The story and the outcome would have been a lot different. I'm not saying that it was a guaranteed win. If they were playing, that Miami would win, but it would be a much different game. Now, they're off this weekend. No game for Miami FC. For Inter Miami, there's no game for them this weekend. They're back the following weekend. I think it's against Toronto on Wednesday of next week. So they got some time off. Xavi, who do you expect to see any returns from injury, or any players that can step up here, or are we going to see more or less the same guys, the same availability that we have for Cincinnati? I know Messi and Suarez won't be back, but will any of these other injury guys, or any of them on the verge of coming back?
We got to see how Toto develops. I mean, that's the biggest thing right there. I think if Aviles would not have been tweaked, he probably would have been the one starting with Busquets. I imagine that's what Tata would have liked to have done, because I just don't see why he would pair those two guys, two slow guys, and it showed in that game. Frey, he's given him some rest the last couple of games. Wigan is back, so I guess he's trying to get him back into shape, because he came back from his injury. But it's a dynamic there where if you have Frey and Wigan now. Frey was actually looking really, really good at right back. He was adding a lot to the defense. He has size, speed. He has everything you want. I think Tata has something to think about there, who he's going to start, if it's going to be Frey or Wigan. On the other side, obviously, we know Alba, when he comes back, he's the man. And he was sorely missed in this game. He was playing. He's been playing really well defensively, which is kind of like you expect him just the attack. No, he had been playing really well. Negri disappointing again, staying up high, people winning, beating him on the run. He looked like, I don't know, there was something missing there, and though that line of 4 that Miami had against Cincy played the worst game of the season, and I do think it is embarrassing, because if you're a contender, 6-1 is a butt whooping, and that game should have been no more than 2-1, 3-1 should have been the most, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But everything just fell apart. So I can understand where the 6 goals came. It fell apart, and I don't think that will happen again. If we see this happen against another team where they fall apart, then you start sounding alarms a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, 4 wins in a row without Messi and Suarez. I definitely. I would have taken 4-1 in that stretch easily.
Oh,
giving us that option, so
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the best remedy for getting over a bad beat? Beat somebody else down, and they're taking on Toronto, who's lost at least 5 in a row from what I saw here. So we're playing them at the right time. Oh man, actually 6 losses in a row for Toronto. Oof. They're playing. They have a Canadian championship game.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Their run of form hasn't been good. I mean, they got talented players, but Toronto's just hasn't been able to put it together consistently all season long. They're on a really bad run of form right now, but it's going to be a home game. Hopefully, Jordi Alba's back. Hopefully, some of these other players will return to some of these other guys from injury, and it should be a good bounce back for Inter Miami. But anyway, I think it's time to wrap it up, guys. Thanks again for hanging out with us. Thanks again to Mason Trafford. Be sure to catch him, Cavalry FC. Xavi, have fun on your next one. Gus, good show. Any final words here?
No, we're good.
Not for you,
Wrap it
bye.
up.